You're listening to the Bleav in Giants podcast with two-time Super Bowl winner Carl Banks and the voice of the Giants, Bob Papa.
Welcome to another edition of Bleav in Giants presented by FanDuel. Bob Papa, Carl Banks, to make sense of a Giants blown fourth quarter lead in Detroit. The more things change, the more they stay the same, Carl. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I just watched the Gibbs 49-yard touchdown run. I just watched the game-winning touchdown. Penei Sewell, as soon as as Okereke starts to overrun it and Penei Sewell pushes him out of the way, Penei Sewell just turns around. Gibbs is only 10 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he raises his arm.
Yeah.
Like, touchdown.
Yeah. Bob, this is one of our episodes where I have to be super careful because I don't want to make this personal, but it is mind-numbingly infuriating to continue to see the same thing over and over again. I mean, we talked in our second show last week about the things that this Giant defense would have to be ready for. And it's pretty simple. I said, Detroit's going to give you the same thing that's been hurting you all year. And what do you know? They needed a play a couple times. They put on the greatest hits. New York Giants defense, greatest hits. Or should I say greatest misses? Oh, here comes a crack. Toss crack. Oh, Brian Burns, you're going to get cracked, but your cornerback's not going to tell you anything. I said it. I said, when did we do our show? Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursday.
I said, communication is going to be important. I said, just let them know it's coming. They ran it twice. Nobody said a word. Success. And then, the little inside zone run or inside power, however you want to look at it. Guys doing their own thing. And a running back goes through your front seven like a knife through hot butter. When I tell you not fucking touched, it is. I really have to be careful right now.
It's astounding. It's astounding.
But and I've been super respectful, and everybody knows I go out of my way to be respectful to coaches because they have jobs to do. And as long as they are Giant coaches, I'm going to root for their success. But goddamn, can you be more unprepared in end-of-game situations? Can you actually look like you went over something with your team? I mean, you see toss crack for the last 4 fucking weeks. Now, I don't sit in those meetings, right? But I know you ain't got no stupid players in your room. There might be some guys who might have some attention issues or get distracted, but the fuck every week. And they come out there and they look the same. Nobody does anything different. This is what bothers me. And when I see an offense that's blood, sweat, and tears, and I have to sit on the defensive side of the ball and not be motivated by that. Number one, you're never motivated by your best defensive player. Clearly, Brian Burns is on the island by himself because nobody's getting his cues. But when you look and the offense continues to hand you something and you roll down the window and throw the fucker away every game, it makes no sense to me. And I know there's some coaches on the defense that are really good. Andre Patterson has coached some of the best defensive linemen and gotten production out of some of the best defensive linemen in this league. These guys going to lose jobs. I don't know if you can't teach them. They ain't that goddamn dumb, but it sure looks like it. So, and again, I don't sit in meetings. And again, let me be careful. But it makes no sense to me to see the same thing over and over again. And you got players who are not interested in maybe doing the right thing. You got a veteran safety. I'm not going to say, Javon Holland, you lost the game, but you sure fucked up a chance for your team to win it. You're a veteran. You are the guy. You're a safety. You're a veteran. You are the guy who is the situational leader. You are the situational quarterback. You're the down and distance guru of your defense. You're a safety. You're battling. Okay, you're trying to keep them out of the end zone and you want to keep them out of field goal range. You make a play, clock's running, and you knock the fucking ball out of somebody's hand.
5 yards was big.
So you go from, what was it, 49?
Well, it was a 59-yard field goal. It would have been a 64-yard.
64-yard field goal. So did you lose the game? You sure fucked up a chance for you to win it.
Yeah, it's just that, Carl. It's a recurring theme. The offense, whether it's Jackson Dart when he was playing, Scatteraboo when he was healthy, Wan'Dale Robinson getting pinballed all over the place, Hodgins coming off the Steelers practice squad, Bellinger, Theo Johnson, whatever their flaws are, and there certainly are flaws. But man, they give you everything. They fight all this stuff.
Bro, it's blood and guts. They get it. And here's the other part.
And the defense is like, come on.
The offense takes the field with a plan. And they adjust their plan as the game goes on. The defense, whatever the plan is to start, it's good until the fuse runs out. There's no adjustment. How do you not have your best player on the field when it's time to close out a game? I've never heard of a defensive philosophy ever where that is effective. I have not. Guess what? The kid from Detroit getting shut out the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't take him out. But when it was time to close it, guess who closed it?
Sure.
Guess who closed it? You know how he closed it? He was on the fucking field.
Right.
Now,
and by the way, Illuminor did a decent job on him to start with.
Yeah.
It was him pursuing the play and nobody opened downfield as Jameis is looking. That created the sack. It's not like he came in, whipped Illuminor, boom, sack. He was actually controlled by Illuminor.
Yeah.
But his work ethic, he was determined to finish the play. When you watch the Giants on defense, other than Brian Burns, Nacho, a handful of other players, there's a lot of guys that just don't really ever finish a play if they're not there at that moment.
Bob, I don't know. I don't know
hustle.
What's been demanded of these kids. I don't, and I'm not nowhere close to letting you players off the hook. I just see a group of guys who Corey Black on the touchdown run. You untouched, and you act like you got directions to go somewhere else. You know, it's like, you ever see people that are new to New York and they just stand in the middle of the street and they look left, right, and don't know if they should go left or right, which is the right direction. I literally look at this guy. He's the unblocked guy. There's a lot of other things that went wrong. Unblocked guy. And just go in and make the tackle. Go in and give effort. All right.
Well, the other thing, I don't know. I mean, listen, deployment of players. The Giants are down to their 8th inside backer opposite Okereke. It's the jinxed position, right? Flanagan fouls, gets hurt. Bozeman was in there on the long runs, the 49-yard touchdown run, the game-winning touchdown run. And look, Swayze Bozeman is trying. He's a practice squad player. But he got gobbled up on those plays. My question is, Zaire Barnes, who you signed off the practice squad to your active roster, when Flanagan fouls went down, Barnes did some good things in there. Like, I was curious as to why he wasn't on the field and why. I don't know. I mean, there's reasons for it that are beyond what we know, but
I can't tell you the answers to that, but I can tell you with a great deal of football knowledge, it's bad coaching. It's lack of preparation when you see players out there, and players are responsible for their preparation too. If you're a backup, assume you're going to get in the game, because that's what Jameis Winston did. Did you guys hear what Jameis said on Friday? I'm always prepared. Whenever they need me to go in, I'm ready to go. These backups on defense, you can't tell. I mean, it is embarrassing, Bob. I'm beyond words because, give me effort. Come out there and act like you want to play football. Don't just collect the check, right? And, putting that Giants uniform should mean something to you. I don't know what it means anymore. And that's unfortunate. And that bothers me, but it ain't my team. Them ain't my teammates, and them ain't my coaches. And I have to keep reminding myself of that because I expect more. I do. And it's beyond embarrassing to take the field every week, watch your offense, just lay it all out on the line and just keep battling back. The resilience. And you take the field and you get beat with the same effing plays every week. I mean, these teams don't even have to put their own game plan in. They put a few of their own plays in and they just go to the greatest hits.
Right.
Well, Giants haven't stopped this. They haven't stopped that. People keep saying, well, the Giants don't have linebackers. They have unprepared linebackers. The shit that keeps working against them, I could teach a high schooler to play better. And you don't need all pros to just fill a gap. Like you fill a gap and you might get blown up, but I guarantee you the runner will not run out of there unscathed. He runs through your entire front seven and nobody lays a finger.
It's unbelievable.
How is that?
A 69-yard touchdown where there was no contact anywhere. It might as well have been a training camp practice where you have the red jersey on and you don't touch anybody.
That is embarrassing.
They are the worst team in the league. I mean, and I'm not saying this like just for inflammatory negative. They're the worst team in the league that I've watched this year, and we watch all the tape of these teams of getting off blocks. It's like when they get blocked, It is unbelievably like Velcro. I have never seen a team. You know
It's
what it
almost
looks
like they check the box. Hey, I'm
correct.
blocked. Here's the guy. The guy I was supposed to be in this gap. That's not football.
No, that's it. You're 100% right. It's almost, Carl, it almost feels like, and they say the eye in the sky never lies. When you put this stuff on and you watch it, it's almost like I got to my spot, check mark. Now that's all that really matters. Like, and I got to my spot. Like, how about like ferociously shedding a block, taking
Play
on
the
a
game
blocker?
violent, man. Taking on a block, get off, act like you want to tackle. And more proof that this is a group who's more in love with the idea of being a defensive player for New York Giants than actually being one. Because every time somebody has to make a tackle, you got a fucking ambulance coming out to get them off the field. It's if you, God forbid, you make a tough tackle, then somebody's coming to pick you up off the field. You're just laying there like you're dead. This is so incredibly frustrating. And then you got a Dexter problem. And I'm not sure he is the impetus for this. I went at the end of regulation through overtime saying, where is Dexter? Dexter's not out there. Now, he was part of a group. He was part of a rotation because there are a couple of those rotations where Nacho wasn't out there either. Another one of your best players.
And we got, before you continue here, let's put this in context. For those of you that just watched the clip that WFAN put out or whatever, unless you listen to our broadcast, because this was something that, Carl, you were talking about after the Olszewski, Jameis Winston, craziest play you're ever going to see. Like, there's nobody. I know this is FanDuel and all this other stuff and there's all these props that there's no prop that would have even probably given odds on a Gunnar Olszewski to Jameis Winston touchdown anywhere under the sun. And you were pounding it because the next series, they went 81 yards in 3 plays. They never faced a third down. And on the radio, you kept going back to, where is Dexter Lawrence? Why is Dexter Lawrence on the field? Where is Dexter Lawrence? So this is not just a clip and a Carl Banks rant. This is you in real time as the game is going on, as we're calling the game. You keep going back to it. We even engaged Howard Cross on the sideline. We asked him, Howard, is he hurt? Have you gotten any word about? So I just want to, because we live in this world of clips and lack of context. And then people now want to comment on a clip. Well, let's just set the tone for what this conversation went on from whenever they scored Gibbs's 49-yard touchdown run. This conversation started at 10:50 of the fourth quarter, not a post-game rant on the post-game show. All right, continue.
Yeah. So you got your best players in rotation. Okay, so I ask, is he hurt? What is this?
I had the binoculars. I'm looking on the bench.
Yes.
Is he being attended to by medical personnel? No. Howard, anything? No.
And so I'm looking at this, and when he's not on the field, they hit certain plays. And I'm just like, you're trying to close out a game. Your best players have got to be on the field. And then when he's on the field, make no mistake, folks, he was effective. He made 3 plays in a row. He took himself out for a breather, which was fine because it came up on a timeout or something. But then their rotation, they platooned. And I don't understand when let's just say, for the sake of keeping your players fresh, Bob, if you're platooning players early in the game, that's so that your guys can be ready to go down the stretch. The rotation is to keep your guys fresh for what?
The end of the game.
When it's time to close the game out. But Jordan Renan, to his credit, he stood there at Dexter's locker and said, "Hey, Dex, you okay?" He said, "Yeah, I'm just a little nicked up. How you feeling?" He said, "I just played a game." He says, "So is there any reason why you were not in down the stretch in certain things?" Dexter says, "As a competitor, I always want to be in the game." Okay. I'm not going to go there right now, but just take him at his word. And then he said they had a plan for me to be in on third down for pass rush. And I have to trust the process and the game plan. What fucking process and what game plan would mandate that your best player, the first player overtime, not be on the field? He said that they wanted him fresh for third down. You never fucking got to third down. How do you get to third down? They just ran right through you. Right. This ain't him. How much sense does it make? You're platooning, right? You're fresh because they had just come, you're in the overtime and, all the commercials and everything that leads you up to overtime. And you're on the sideline. This is not towards you, Dexter, per se, but you're standing there waiting for third down. And you just watched because the process and the game plan said this is what you're supposed to do. How the fuck is your best player at the beginning of overtime not on the field? I don't get it. And then, by the way, for those who, believe in load management, the backup ain't as good as the starter in any of these situations. And the backup got blown off the ball 5 yards into the lap of one of the linebackers or the safeties. That doesn't happen to Dexter. Even a half of Dexter is not getting blown off the ball. He might get occupied, but he ain't getting blown off the ball. I don't know. And they'll never tell us which side is true. All I know is the guy wasn't on the field. And he stood at his locker and said, it's nothing that's preventing him from being on the field. Like, he's not injured. He's nicked up, he said. So that's the narrative we're going with. So you got to find out if it was a coach's decision, if it was a player's decision, if it was a medical decision. All I know, because when I hear the player say what he said, then there was no reason for him not to be on the field on first down if he could play on third down. And I know this. My coaches, and again, this ain't my team. This ain't my defense. But I'm just saying how defense fucking works, people. My defensive coaches would come to me and say, I need you on first down. I know we're sparing you, but we need to close this game out. Can you give me anything you got? Give me everything you got on these. I'll take care of you, but we need to get out of this game.
Right.
And Nacho wasn't in on a lot of those plays either. So it is the poorest job of situational football coaching that I've witnessed in a long time. And again, I try to be super respectful to these coaches and I root for these guys. But I cannot watch an offensive side of the football play lights out for entire game. They make adjustments. They get players hurt. They put other players in. They just do what they need. They're prepared. They're situationally prepared. The players are mentally prepared. The backups know what they're supposed to do. And then you flip the other side of the field, and it's Keystone Cops.
Right.
I'm embarrassed. I am, and I don't like, criticizing coaching and players to this level. But it has become personal to watch
Right.
this. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And you have people that don't know as much about the game as I do that can look with their own two eyes and say, y'all trash. And I can't, there's no way I can dispute that. I can't argue. I can tell you why, but these people are looking at you and they're saying you're trash. And I would defend it. And I would tell people that's not quite correct, but they see it. They see it, and they don't even have a trained eye. How is this even possible? How is it?
Yeah, I mean, right. Just the inability or the lack of being able to get off blocks as consistently as they don't get off blocks is like, right. You don't have to have played for Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells on your defense to look at this and say, my gosh, they're like Velcroed.
Yeah, I mean, see ball, get ball. See ball, hit ball. It's like, again, did anybody tell you that football entails a little bit of contact, but the guy with the ball is the one you get? And this whole peekaboo thing that they do at the linebacker position, obviously it's taught because everybody that comes out there does the same thing. There's nobody that plays downhill. And you see the same plays over and over again. What are you doing in corrections when you're in these meetings? What are you saying to guys that get Velcroed on blocks? Oh, great, you were there. Or
Right.
Get there a little sooner, right? Folks, it's some good coaches are going to lose some jobs as a result of the way this defense is playing, and it's unfortunate. And good coaching will not have opportunities to really apply for the job. I feel bad for Mike Kafka because the job he's doing right now, folks, this guy emptied the clip. And you just watch the other side of football. And again, these coaches support each other. I know he don't want to fire anybody on the other side of football, but it's the optics of the whole. And I always have to remember that it's a results-oriented game. You're the coach of the whole team, not just the part that's doing well. And this is, if you make a change now, I don't know what difference it's going to make because somebody else coaching can't teach these techniques overnight. But you can demand certain things. You can demand that your veteran safety be smarter in game-winning situations. Instead of the my bad, you don't need my bads.
No, that's the my bad thing is.
The my bad thing is for a second-year player like Drew Phillips or Tyler Nubin, not you. They paid you to be the veteran, right? You are their Jameis Winston. You are their Russell Wilson. You are the brain. You're supposed to teach these guys these things. You're not supposed to be that guy. You just, again, I ain't going to blame the game on you. There was a lot of things that went wrong in this game. But you sure coached your team a chance in that situation to close out and win the game.
The thing is, Carl, right? Like you watch the teams that win and you watch the teams that lose. And the teams that win have players, especially at the end of these games. We've watched the Chiefs do it for years. We're watching the Rams do it now. You make winning plays at the end in the fourth quarter because all these games, the margins are so slim in the NFL. Or you make plays that are not winning plays that prevent your team from having a chance to. Again, we're not blaming the game on Javon Holland for that delay of game penalty, but where every inch is at a premium, you can't give him 5 yards to make the kick a little bit more comfortable for the guy.
Correct.
And then the other thing is, Carl, their best players don't close games out, right? I mean, and I see people, they're like, oh, next year when there's a new defensive coordinator, they're going to scheme up ways for Abdul Carter. Hey, dude, that position, you either win or you lose. Hutchinson was beaten most of the game by Illuminor. With the game on the line, though, he found a way to win. The Giants, none of the Giants' defensive players have made winning plays in these games at the end. I watched Jared Verse on Sunday Night Football just win. If you watch the Thursday night game and you watched Will Anderson, there was no scheme there as he's coming off the edge on each side. He was literally just beating his man like Carl Banks used to do it and Lawrence Taylor used to do it and J.J. Watt used to do it and Reggie White used to do it. And let's go through the names. Close it out. And they don't close it out. Their best players
and here's my
observation when it matters.
Here's my observation with Abdul Carter. It's all starting to look the same. You got one gear. And if you're on flat surface, which means your first couple quarters of the game, it looks good. But you get to the fourth quarter, your same thing looks like you're going uphill. You're a step slower. You don't have the same quickness. You're doing the same thing, but it just seems like as the game goes on, and this is, a question, I asked him because I don't know. I don't attend their practices, but are you practicing at game speed? Because your one gear ain't good going uphill, and that uphill is down the stretch. You don't have it. That's something you're going to have to develop. I'll leave that there because I don't know enough about how you practice. I can tell you what I see. But as we close this out, Bob, I can just say this. Defensively, I sincerely don't think they are dumb players, but they do some stupid shit. And that's both player and coaching. Because if you can't be in the situation in a moment situationally and have your finger on the pulse of what's needed, adjustment-wise, or making great decisions as a player on the field, or making bad decisions as players on the field. That's just doing stupid stuff when you know better. But every week, it's the greatest hits. It's the greatest hits, and the New York Giants defense will dance to whatever you want them to, because if it's a toss crack, drop the needle on the record and watch it run. Oh, if it's an inside zone or a dual block, drop the needle on the record and watch it run. I am just gobsmacked, man. It's too personal, and I mean, because I don't play, I can't impact this coaching or player wise, but when you have your best player saying, hey, as a competitor, I'll always be on the field. Well, I'm not going to tell you, Dexter, to go demand it, because that's not who you are, right? But I can say to your coaches.
That's what Howard Cross said during the broadcast. He's like, Carl, I would have just run out there and make them pull me off.
Yeah, I mean, that's that level, but this is not that era. So I'm going to leave it there because that's not who you are. But who's ever making those decisions, if he can go, put him out there. He said he's a competitor and he always wants to be out there. I'd say put him out there. Don't let him see that. It's an embarrassment to see your best player standing on the sideline saying he's ready to go, and you just want somebody run through your defense.
The Detroit
coaches,
he
could have made a difference.
The Detroit coaches must have been looking up in the box because they got someone spotting who's in the game. They're calling down.
Yes, of course.
They must have been like, what's going on? Like, what? Is he? I wonder if he's hurt. Like, was he not? Let's run this.
Let's run it.
Everything between the tackles. Let's just run it. He's not in the game.
Yeah.
And even if he's not playing to the level that he's played in his 3 straight Pro Bowl years leading up to it, he, as you said, they would notice if he's in the game, and they're going to account for him.
Yes.
They will account for him.
He's not getting blocked 5 yards off the ball. He may get gobbled up. He may not defeat the doubles and the triples, but he don't get knocked 5 yards off the ball.
So, Carl, I mean, look, you got Dexter drew a holding penalty on the field goal that early in the drive. He was disruptive all during that point in time. And, I look at this whole thing and I sit there and I say to myself, I've never seen anything like this. The Giants have scored on the opening drive of their first possession of the game 7 times this year. 6 have gone for touchdowns. They haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely, but you know what the record shows? The 2025 New York Giants are giving up 5.9 yards per carry.
Hey, and if you play the greatest hits enough, you'll get 10 yards a carry.
Carl will be back later this week to do our preview, obviously, to get ready for the New England Patriots and Monday Night Football. But, obviously the big story as we did the live reaction, the Giants are making a change at the defensive coordinator. We'll see if that makes some kind of difference with this football team.
Yeah, we just gave you all the reasons why the change should have been made.
How do we like to end this thing?
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Bleav in Giants.